Hi guys, welcome back. In the part 2 of your AC manufacturing space, today we are going to be covering about EPACK durables. Already covered Amber and PGL, now we will be covering EPACK durables. Okay. Now first thing first, let us understand the business model. Again, just a note that anything that you want to, all the business models that you want to understand in depth, where you want to see the pictures, screen sharing, all of that would be covered. Just go to the business analysis playlist, or I will just link that video over here. You can watch it. Okay. Now first let's talk about this EPACK durable. What is the what do they exactly do? Okay, like I told you over here, EPACK durable is mostly an AC manufacturing company. Not just AC, they also do various other AC component also. So if you look at this company, when they started in the early 2000s, I think in 2003 when they started, they were only like a contract manufacturer. Then they became an original design manufacturer. When you tell what is the difference between contract and original design manufacturers is, let's say if you're a contract manufacturer, let's say I'm Samsung and you are EPACK durable, I just tell you कि like भाई मुझे ये चाहिए, इतना इतना component का चाहिए, like इतना इतना voltage, you have to, you're just basically executing what I tell. But if you are an ODM, I'll just come and I'll be like, dude, I need an AC, can you do it for me? And you will have to sit and design everything कि like कितना क्या, I will just give you a requirement as to like this is the voltage that I'm looking for, this is the power of AC that I'm looking for. You will sit and do the entire designing, you will take care of the entire production and give me a final product over here. Okay. Now of course, right, when you are an ODM over here, you have much more higher margin compared to, let's say, a mere contract manufacturer. Okay. Now over here also there is one thing to understand between over here is inka compared to everybody else. For EPACK durable, 80 to 85% of the revenue comes by selling this RAC, that is your room ACs, and the various room AC products that is there. 80 to 85% of the revenue comes from here. Now, other than that, the other 10 to 15% of the revenue that is there, it is coming by selling this various other electrical appliances. Okay, so this is the business model over here. And if you look at them, they have, if you look at them, right, in the year in Q1 of this year, they told that they're targeting around 2100 crore in revenue for FY24-25. Okay, over the FY24 base. So that's the over the FY24 base, it is like a 45%, 40 to 45% kind of growth that you could expect over here. So it was a high growth engine because at that time I think PGL was like a 32% kind of growth engine, and this EPACK durable was around a 40 to 45% growth they were targeting over here. Now over here comes the Q2 numbers, and you see that the sales that is there has grown by 112% on a year-on-year basis. Like really good, right? 112% is not a joke. But if you also look in terms of their guidance, they're getting closer to achieve that also. Like comparing H1 numbers to where they have to be, again closer also. Okay, and other than that, if you see the various capex that they have planned also is on track. Like let me talk about the capex. Like see, they had three plants in they have three plants. Okay, there is one plant called Sri City in this place called Sri City. Okay, in this Sri City, what they were doing, they were expanding capacity. Okay, they were expanding capacity not just for ACs but also for other electrical appliances. And AC capacity at that time in this plant was running at 40 to 50%. Okay, and they're planning to take it to complete utilization by the end of the year, which is also happening on track in Q2. Okay, and other than that, like I told you, electrical appliances is another how do I put this, is another line they wanted to start, and they want to start doing these various electrical appliances such as this hair dryer, water heater, a room heater, all of these things, refrigerators and all of this also they wanted to manufacture. And this is also going on track. In fact, the trial production has started, and in Q4 you will see the actual utilization happen over here. Okay, so in terms of Sri City, that was it is going on well. Okay, then the other thing is they signed a deal with Panasonic so that they can produce various components of RAC for them and various other products in the EMS space. Other than that, they also signed another contract with this company called Hisense, I don't know how you pronounce it, Hisense I guess, to manufacture air conditioners and home appliances in India. Okay, so they have done all of this capex, all of these contracts they have signed, right? So anybody will not do capex if you're not seeing demand. So capex is also on track. Other than that, if you see, they also had another capex with this. They formed a company called EPAO. Okay, EPAVO, EPAO. And this is a joint venture between them and another company called Ram Ratan Global wise. So these people have 20%, Ramratan Global Wire has the rest, and they wanted to take their equity shares to 50%, right? And this company that is there, this E-Power, they make this motors, and this motors is going, again, it is like a backward integration now, where they want, again, this motors they'll manufacture and use it in their own AC ka thing. So you see in all capex plan also there is no hindrance, right? So everything is good. So we saw that in terms of guidance at 2100 crore ka guidance, they're getting closer to achieve that. They're also getting closer in terms of the numbers, high pace of sales growth, 112% kind of sales growth on a year-on-year basis. Capex is on track, right? Everything is good. So what is the problem over here? If everything is good, there must be some kind of hunky-dory. Everything can't be such a hunky-dory situation. There must be something. The problem comes over here is when you see their PAT, is when you see their bottom line, the losses have widened. Earlier it was minus 6 earlier I think in last Q2, right? Last Q2 it was minus 6 crore, okay? Losses were 6 crore, and now the losses have widened. It has increased to 8.9 crores. So what is the reason as to, like, although your sales has increased by so much, that the losses have widened? In fact, the margins that you see in this quarter is hardly around 2.8%. I'm talking about the EBITDA margin. EBITDA margin is hardly 2.8%. And when you see the entire year, when you see the margins, have always maintained that 7 to 8% kind of margins have always maintained. So what is the reason over here? As you know, Q2 is a seasonally lean quarter for any AC companies, and over here, if you remember in PGL ka one part of the revenue, like 60 to 70% of the revenue comes from product. Even in this product business, they have two things: they have AC plus washing machine, right? And they have other sources of revenue. When you talk about Dixon also, Dixon has AC, that is their room ACs, consumer durables. They have that railway car, railway also there is a part of revenue coming from, and then they have this electronic segment also, right, where they make this different kind of circuit board. So they also have that other part of the revenue. When you look at EPACK Durable, like I told you, EPACK Durable ka revenue, when you see 80 to 85% of the revenue comes from ACs alone, room ACs, and making the components over there. And we know what Q2 is a seasonally lean quarter over here, right? And for all the other companies, although AC segment has really performed well this time, right? In spite of that, there are other parts of the revenue also perform well for them. But over here, since AC is your only mainstream of revenue, 85% is coming from there, right? And it is a seasonally lean quarter for them, utna kuch sales nahi hota hai yahan pe. That is the reason you see that the bottom line has been impacted. Another thing over here is, see, one is usually you see AC ka sale happens like 80%, 90% of the top line comes from AC. Now this time it's hardly been 60 to 70% of the top line. The other thing is AC ka margin is very, very, very low compared to the other things, right? If you talk about AC ka margin, it comes between 6 to 7% versus your PCB boards, your electronic circuit boards and all. These are higher margin products, like north of 10% also sometimes it can go if you are, if you have that economies of scale. So both of these reasons combined, one is seasonally lean quarter, and the second is they have the highest amount of revenues coming from AC, is why you see that the losses over here have widened. Okay. The other thing, other than this, there is another reason is, if you look at their balance sheet, like I told you, right, this time we have seen the highest amount of demand. We are also seeing demand coming in Q3 and Q4 also going forward, right? Now what has happened over here, for all of this they need inventories, and there were a lot of capex going on, right? So most of their cash right now is stuck in working capital requirement, like tremendous amount of cash is stuck in working capital requirement. It's either in inventory, but most importantly in receivables also, right? So now because of this, again, the entire crunch has come. As a result, again, working capital requirements, cash flow has been reduced, and most importantly, आपका seasonally lean quarter है. All of this has literally squeezed the bottom line over here. That is the main reason. Okay. Now, if you look at over here, I'll tell you with this company. Okay, I understand there is growth, and see, growth is not the only one thing. It is the most important thing, but it is not the only thing. Now, similarly over here, यहाँ पे growth है, but there are a lot of other things also where like I told you, one is the receivables are like mind-boggling यहाँ पे. The second thing is when you talk about, the margins are the lowest compared to anybody in the space. The third is their ROE. Their ROE is hardly at 5% versus when you look at PGL and all, that is 18%. Okay, that here ROE is quite low, 5% ka ROE hai. So it's like, how do I put this? They're literally on like an ice, like a cracking ice, you can tell. And the only saving grace, the only glue that is holding together is this high growth. Let's say tomorrow tomorrow this high growth also goes, right? And along with the high growth is growing, आपका debt is up by 50%. I'm talking about your working capital का debt जो है, that is up by 50%. Your receivables are high, your cash flows are not really that great, right? Cash flows has become negative. Right, all of these problems are there. And along with this, कल जाके अगर यहाँ पे if the growth goes out of the window ना, then God alone can be a saving grace over here. But as long as this growth is there, as long as they can achieve that 2100 crore of revenue, well and good. Hopefully we see that the margins also come up in by the end of the year. Again, the margins are stable at 8% and we see some sort of operating leverage, yes. But always remember here, this ROE यहाँ पे being very low and they're targeting that 50% का growth engine. Already यहाँ पे working capital में इतना कुछ हो रहा है, right? Everything is exhausted over here, right? And along with this working capital का issue, with this cash flows का issue, with the ROE being low, if you see that the growth rate goes, then it's like a ticking time bomb you're sitting on, okay? But on the other hand also, if things go well for them, they'll become like that last boy of the class, you know, who you have no hopes on, becomes the topper. It's like that. Because over here, the other way also the ROE can improve, because like I told you, यहाँ पे ROE is very low, 5% का ROE है. The management is targeting to improve the ROE to 15% in the coming 2 years. Now, of course, if the ROE improves, you will also, the shareholders stand a chance to make money. Now, how they're improving the ROE is by getting different kind of product mix, such as like I told you, ना यहाँ पे that Sri City में they're putting up a plant, right? Putting up a line to produce this, you know, the refrigerators and other kind of electrical appliances. Now, because of this, thoda sa what will happen, the dependency on the AC will come, right? And as a result, you know, the margins will remain stable and also they will have another source of revenue. This is another thing. And with Panasonic also, like I told you, they're entering into various other ventures and contracts. So these are the reasons why you see that you might see that the ROE improve. But this is something that we need to wait and track. You know, we have to watch and track this business, that the ROE. I know that you can't judge ROE on an absolute basis at 5%, but we have to, you know, you have to sit and track and see that, you know, whether this ROE is improving from 5 to 10 to 15 in the coming 2 years. That is one thing to be very careful about. All is well and good, but I'm highlighting also the risk that ROE is less, working capital is exhausted, cash flow is not really that great, right? And yeah, but along with that, they are in plan, in line with the guidance to achieve 2100 crore in this coming year, 40 to 50% kind of growth they're planning to achieve. Not just that, they're planning to do a huge capex in that in Andhra Pradesh, another capex that they're planning. Nothing online, but if they target this capex, they, you know, company they're targeting to generate around 1 billion in terms of revenue, you know, from this capex that they're doing. Again, nothing as to like foundationally, nothing as to like how much will be this capex, how will they fund it, none of that. They just have told it, something that we need to wait and track. But overall, right now, when you see, this becomes like a I would say a third player in the space compared to that, because when you talk about the entire, all the peers that you do, because now PGL becomes the highest growing engine with the improvement in guidance or the revision in guidance, and EPACK Durable that is there, you know, a bit it comes in a second or third position because of the problems that it is facing right now. Only thing we need to track and see is if they're getting closer to the guidance and these problems that are there, hopefully it improves and it becomes, you know, the second case scenario where it becomes from last boy of the class to the topper of the class and not the other way around. Okay, so that's it for EPACK Durable. I'll see you in another video where we'll be discussing the last company in this AC manufacturing space. I will so this is a company that I've never discussed earlier in the business, I mean in my YouTube channel, so I'll have to share the screen and do, as you all know, whenever I'm discussing the first time any video, I will share the screen and do it. And after we finish that, we will, in the same video only, I will do the P2P for all the 4 companies. Okay, so that's that for today's video. I'll see you again probably by today only with the other video. Bye.